Regardless of accidental death or murder, this case does look like a cover-up. In this video, I will be talking about the connection between finances and the mayor and corruption, because a lot of corruption is caused because of finances and it affecting the finances. Nothing can get in the way of the mayor making money. He's not a mayor, he's a businessman who was appointed his place because his father died. That's the only reason really why he's the mayor. And there was one time where he went for election and there was no one to even go against him. Funny that. You know, these things are definitely things we need to look at and we do miss. And I'm going to point them out even if you know, just to make sense of it. But I'm going to connect to finances, the mayor, corruption, police corruption. I'm going to indicate the difference between Cook County Police and Rosemont Police, which is public safety, and the fact that their concern for public safety, there isn't any, okay?
Negative. I have that subject in the kitchen in a freezer. She is frozen solid. 10-4, 600.
Rosemont, ambulance 169, we're clear at the scene. Returning, scene handed over to Rosemont Public Safety Police. Go ahead, sir. Can you come out here and meet Deputy Chief Kenneka and the detectives about that camera? Master Receiver, you guys back in the same area?
So this is a YouTuber that I love their channel because they find all these little bits of information that is quite important, but you can never find it yourself. So please check their channel out. Their name is 24K Info, and they do give lots of little bits of information that I think are quite pinnacle and has actually prompted me to do this video. So yeah, please check them out and subscribe. So this was a bit of a breakdown of what 24K Info put up on her channel. I'll put the link in the description. And you can see it's apparent that money and finances are the main concern for this mayor. You know, we see here that he's involved in this establishment, this restaurant being built within the Crown Plaza, and I have a lot of information coming up to show how in depth his relationship to money and business goes. He is money and business orientated before he is a mayor. He's a businessman. That family is built up on business. They built Rosemont. They made Rosemont. Rosemont was called Rosemont when his father was the mayor. He was the first mayor of Rosemont because that's when it got called Rosemont. Please understand, they are business people. Read all of this information. Okay? It says, and Mayor Brad Stephens couldn't agree more. Stephens said he met Andy Murray a few years ago when the Murrays were in search of a location. I'm thrilled for the entire Murray family and naturally for the village of Rosemont, Stephens says, obviously because you own the village of Rosemont. I'm going to put this in the right context because they do speak in a way as if they try to detach themselves from what they actually are. The village of Rosemont, that's yours. That's why you're happy. Let's be real, okay? It happens to meet him when he's about to, wants to build another restaurant. Come on. It's another financial business, adventure. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have businesses or whatever, but the scale. I'm going to show you the scale. This guy is not a mayor. He owns Rosemont. He's not a mayor. He owns that town. Not like another mayor who can be appointed to that position. He basically owns it. Okay? Okay, so pay attention to the date that it said that it was scheduled to open. It was scheduled to open in December, which it couldn't because she died in the kitchen of this restaurant that's about to be built within the Crown Plaza. Okay, so we can see where the problem comes from. All that matters is obviously the finances and money in this town. So that was going to set that back, and that's all that really mattered. So, and check out the date. This was posted on July the 6th. So pay attention to that. This was before Kenneka even died. Okay, so this is another website that I used. It's called oakpark.com. And this is about, as you can see, it says signs of Mark Stephens' clout cash connections. And I think Mark Stephens, he is obviously a relative of the mayor. And it goes on to say Triton College Board of Trustees Chairman Stephens. So he's the chairman of Triton College, which is actually quite a large role to have. He does control a 70 million for that college, and he did to get to the place he was. He invested £70,000 to win a non-salary trustee seat. He was adamant he wanted that place. For what reason? Control purposes. I'll go on to the next bit of information and show you what I mean. It says, gleaming, bustling nerve centre focused on conventions, hotels and nightlife. Okay? That's what it says the mayor's father, who made this town, like I said, wanted Rosemont to be. He wasn't doing it for public safety. It was to make money for himself. Okay? Mark Stephens was the mayor's brother, as you can see that it says. Okay? It says Mark Stephens and his brother, Leydon Township supervisor and Rosemont mayor. He was Leydon Township supervisor, which is another town south of Rosemont. Okay? And another big position to have. He's no longer the supervisor, but he was. Okay? And he retired. Okay? So it's another way to take control, okay? And then it says, the Stephens brothers are the big dogs in Rosemont, at Triton and throughout Leydon Township, okay? So, the college, that town I was talking about, and Rosemont, they basically control them places to a great extent, politically and financially, okay? As you can see here, it says Stephens control of political process. Okay, and these are all the places that are central to his control. Okay, this is what I'm saying. This is about control, money, and power. Very similar to Trump. Very similar to how the mobs worked. Okay, which I will go on to. As you know, there is a connection to the mobs. And it says here on the next bit that I highlighted, it says, it seems Stephens wanted to maintain iron control of the school's £70 million, dollars, annual budget. Okay, so that's what I was saying. That was his main purpose, to control the money. It's finances. You can swindle money. You can dodge taxes. That family knows. They're the kings and queens of knowing what to do when it comes to business and swindling money and things like that from their past, even their dad's past. Okay? And it even says contracts and the ability to do favours and convey power. Convey power. And it says here, money is power. Over the same 6-month month period, Bradley Stephens Committeeman Fund raised over 3.25 million. And the Rosemont Voters League took in just over 1 million. Mark Stephens is the treasurer of both funds. Okay, so he wanted to get into a college, not to help the students, not for the people and the public, as they like to go on about, but for money. Okay, and it says here, that lush cash flow allows the Stephens brothers to be generous with people they favour. What happened to them not favouring people? They keep saying they don't favour people for jobs. They don't favour people when it comes to crime. I'm going to prove they do. So here you can see what I was talking about the money aspect of this college being his main concern. In this article, it doesn't talk about anything other than money. And if it does talk about something else, it then relates back to money being the conclusion of what they're trying to do. And as you can see, it says last year's enrolment revenue totaled about 27.5 million. Okay, and enrolment revenue was about 25.1 million in fiscal year 2013. So you can see they're just trying to make more money, more money, more money. Not for the college, for themselves. This is how it's being writ. This is how it's being perceived. Okay, a tuition increase of $5 per credit hour took effect at the start of the current school year. Okay, and then it goes on to say, as well as partnering with local high schools to increase college readiness and strengthen dual credit offerings. No, you're going to high schools to try and boost their them wanting to come to your college. That's why you went there, to promote yourself. It's basically you was advertising. Let's put this in the right context, as I said. That's what that was. All you've done is talk about money until when you spoke about how you're going to gain more money from the college. You're making it sound like, oh, now you care. No, it's for money. Okay? It goes on to say, Stephens spoke about the enrolment revenue shortfall. Trustees voted to gradually increase tuition for some of the school's healthcare programs over the next 3 years. How is that helping students? How is it helping anyone other than yourself generate money? Because you haven't made, and like I said, if you read this, the point of this is, it says, and the title of it is basically saying they're failing to make enough money. They're failing to make enough money for them to profit. That's what it is. And now they're using the students, manipulating them into going to college to make money from them. That's what this is saying, okay? These are business people. These are business people that have been given their position with no rights. It was just passed down like they were kings. That's why they're called Stephens the First, Stephens the Second, Stephens the Third. They think they're kings because they were passed this mayor role, this corporate role by their father, who was a mayor. He was the first mayor who basically built Rosemont. Look at it in the right perspective. It says here it's a family affair. As I said, this is to do with the fact that they just pass money to each other, pass money to themselves for their different companies they have themselves. They don't help anyone that's not in their family or not close friends with them. They're not providing money as much as they should for people, for the public. This is what I said. This is a mayor, not a businessman. It's supposed to be a mayor, but he's treating his position as if he's a businessman. He's taking advantage of his position politically and financially. It says Braille Inc. has no listed phone number, just the Byron Street address of Donald Stephens II. Okay, so this is to do with him. This is to do with the Stephens, a brother of Mark Stephens and Bradley Stephens. Okay, this is their brother. Donald Stephens II is listed as the president and secretary of the business on Secretary of State corporate filings. No, the mayor is the owner, and he is not saying he owns the company because he's the mayor. Okay, look at what it says here: $726,000 from 1999 to 2008. Stephens Commitment Fund paid Braille that amount, so he paid himself from political money to a business, which was basically his. That's my opinion on it. Please look and go in depth with this. Okay, so pay attention to this. This is very important. This is where I connect public safety, which is owned by the mayor. It's his business, basically. Policing is his business now. And the reason why is because it gets to control the law and get away with a lot of things and help people get away with things and carry on trying to produce his empire. But it says here the former officer who sued claimed favoritism was shown to a drug dealer and a drunken drivers tied to village officials. And a 2012 Tribune Medal watchdog investigation found the family profits not just from lucrative salaries, okay, but from town contracts and political funds heavily financed by other vendors. So you can understand why the policing and the money that they make here, it just tied it all in together. Basically, everything I've said, they've tied it all in what I've just said here. It even says that the late Donald Stevens' son has made no apologies for what he has said um, is his family's role in building what he described as a well-run town with no favoritism. I haven't seen much of where he talks about the town. All I see is really building things and trying to make it look like he's helping people. But really, it's for his own financial benefit. And then he goes on to they go on to say the latest lawsuit alleges a far different picture, claiming misconduct by the police chief, Donald Stevens III, the grandson of the patriarch. Okay, so that is the police chief now. Siciliano alleges the chief ordered him not to discipline an officer for misconduct. Okay, after the officer claimed he knew the chief used steroids, according to the lawsuit. Okay, so what they're saying here is that you guys have some of you guys have seen this already before. Is they're trying to say that the chief was ordering. This is the nephew of the mayor was ordering police to take evidence from the crime scene. Okay, and he even ordered at one point this guy not to get involved because probably knew that his character was genuine. Okay, and it says certain evidence such as stories was removed from the suicide scene before a formal investigation began on the death. That is to keep their integrity up for public safety. If they found out one of their officers was on steroids, which is probably illegal as an officer, it puts down, I'm going to call their business. Same way it will put down their business into that Stephens Centre across the road from Crown Plaza. Okay? All of this is all, trust me, tying in. Okay? It says they included twice being asked to drop criminal charges against a friend of a top police department official and once being ordered to remove some surveillance cameras. Okay, I'm going to say that again. The order to remove some surveillance cameras from the department that may have captured unlawful activity according to the lawsuit. Isn't that interesting? That's exactly what we feel from this Kenneka Jenkins case. And one of the first things the public safety did was on the radios talk about the surveillance cameras. Come and look at this surveillance camera. They were more concerned about helping this hotel get away with murder than to help solve this crime. They didn't come to help find the killers. They came to help get them out of this situation. They can carry on making money. I'm telling you, money is literally power to some people. It says the former commander also alleged he was ordered not to provide information to Department of Labour investigations that would show that some officers were being shirked pay, and said he also unfairly lost pay over 2 back injuries. They didn't want to pay him for his back injuries, which is why they got rid of him, really. It's all money, yeah? It's all money. Everything, like, they don't want to they don't want to help people. Like I said, this proves that. They don't want to help the public. They only want to help their people. Like the rule, like they're like a rule. It's like a mob. It's like a mob, and then they act like a mob, but then they want us to believe that they didn't have connections with the mob. After he bought a building from them, and then wanted to talk about building a casino with the mob. That's what he did, and he's also got other crimes that he got away with, which I think he could have been guilty for taxes and things like that. How do you think these people make so much money? Not from just being the mayor. And politics, trust me, there's a lot going on.